This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 2022, 3 Secrets of Joyful Motherhood by Lynnette Shepard with Layne.co. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another parenting episode of ORD, brought to you by me, Greg Audino. It's great to be here with you once again, and as always, and this time I have a post from Lynnette Shepard, who is a guest writer for Layne's site, which we have read a lot of great content from, both here and on Optimal Living Daily, the show that started it all. So without further ado, let's jump into this one about how to ensure a joyful motherhood as we optimize your life. 3 Secrets of Joyful Motherhood by Lynnette Shepard with Layne.co. As a young mother of 3 children, ages 4, 2, and 6 weeks, there was no such thing as a typical day. Every day was an adventure. Some felt like an exciting journey of joyful discovery, while others were more like being trapped inside of a hurricane. It had been one of those whirlwind days, and I was exhausted. My sweet 2-year-old had turned into a terror almost overnight. Within the course of a few hours, he'd climbed onto the kitchen counter to play in the sink, turning the kitchen into a swimming pool, unloaded the medicine cabinet, and tried to brush his teeth with Neosporin, dumped an entire bottle of aftershave all over himself and the bathroom, pulled a chair over to a dresser to retrieve a bottle of muscle rub that looked particularly fascinating to his young eyes, and dumped a full container of fish food, enough to last for a year, into our aquarium. Trying to care for a newborn and a stubborn 4-year-old while I could not let my curious 2-year-old out of my sight convinced me that I was in way over my head. I loved my kids, but wondered how the daily experience of motherhood could possibly be joyful. Stressful felt like a better descriptor when I spent most of my time dealing with one catastrophe after another. Now, 14 years later, thanks to the wise teachers of time and perspective, I've learned a thing or two about harnessing joy. It begins by internalizing these 3 principles of joyful motherhood. Number 1, I am a mother, not a martyr. I knew I had a problem when a new friend asked me to share a few things that I enjoyed, and I couldn't think of anything. It had been ages since I'd focused on myself, because I thought I was too busy being a mom. In that moment of epiphany, I realized I had lost myself somewhere in the middle of kids, carpools, homework, and managing a household. I had forgotten that I was more than a mother. I was a woman with passions and interests unrelated to raising a family. It took me a while to find that girl again, because she'd been hiding for so long. But the process was incredibly freeing. Underneath all the layers of motherhood, I was still the same curious and driven girl that I had been before having children. I still loved to write and cook things other than chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese. I still had a passion for learning and teaching. I cherish being a mom and feel like it's the noblest work I could be doing at this stage in my life. But to be whole, I also need to feed my soul with other things that make me happy. Now, say it out loud with me. I am a mother, not a martyr. Some sacrifices come with the territory, but setting aside my passions because I have children is no longer one of them. Number 2, there is magic in the mess. In my world, mess equals stress. I can handle some chaos for a short time, but it will inevitably cause me to lose my cool and start acting like a crazy woman if it stays around for too long. As much as I would like to change that aspect of my personality, I think it's around for the long haul, which is sometimes tricky with a house full of kids and teenagers who are not naturally tidy. The reality is that family life is messy. I could spend every minute of my time cleaning, and my kids would still leave trails of disorder behind them. I could allow that to keep me in a constant state of frustration, but I would rather not. Instead, I'm trying to train myself to find joy and purpose amidst the chaos. Art supplies scattered across every flat surface in my home have become evidence of creativity and love. Stacks of homework have become a testimony of academic dedication. Flour and sugar spilled all over the counters have become proof of kids learning to cook. Piles of laundry? Well, they're just piles of laundry. I'm still working on that one. It is my goal to teach my kids to clean up after themselves, but they usually just look at me with a blank expression, like I'm speaking in tongues. However, I grow more convinced with each passing year that finding joy in the messiness of motherhood is only a matter of knowing where to look. And number 3, enough is enough. While child rearing used to be an intuitive process, it now feels like a competitive sport. There is immense pressure to help your children discover their unique talents before they start kindergarten. If you wait to enroll them in lessons or sports until they're 7 years old, they will be behind, which means that scholarships will likely be out of the question in the future. As a mom, it's easy to get sucked into the parental culture where keeping kids busy is an unwritten rule. I jumped on that bandwagon when my children were young, which meant that we were constantly on the run between all sorts of activities. It did not go well. While my kids enjoyed their classes and teams, they were often stressed and irritable because they had hardly any time to relax and play. They longed for unstructured time to ride their bikes, jump on the trampoline, or read a book. Searching for more balance, I became extremely picky about the things I allowed into our schedule. I said no often, protecting our downtime like the treasure it was, which allowed me to say yes to the things that mattered most. We were all happier because of it. In the fast-paced world that we live in, a little busyness goes a long way. Sometimes enough is enough. Throughout the years of motherhood, there will inevitably be ups and downs. It may not be possible to enjoy every moment or stage, but that doesn't need to keep each of us from finding fulfillment in the overall journey. You just listened to the post titled 3 Secrets of Joyful Motherhood by Lynnette Shepard with Layne.co. This holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, flavorful meals to fuel you on jam-packed days. Well, our sponsor Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you eat cleanly with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. Save time, stay healthy, and treat yourself to high-quality, delicious meals over the holidays. Choose from over 35 chef-crafted meals every week that support a healthy lifestyle and meet your meal preferences. And by the way, Factor isn't just for dinner. Count on extra convenience any time of day with an assortment of over 55 add-ons to suit various preferences and tastes. Choose from quick breakfast items, lunch to go, grab-and-go snacks, and ready-to-drink cold-pressed juices, shakes, and smoothies. And rest assured, you're making a sustainable choice. Factor offsets 100% of their delivery emissions and source 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices. So head to factormeals.com/optimal50 and use code optimal50, that's optimal50, to get 50% off. That's code optimal50 at factormeals.com/optimal50 to get 50% off. And thanks a lot to Lynnette for offering these insights, which are valuable for any parent in the midst of raising children, I am sure. Now, I think a core theme here is that parenting is not about perfection, which is a takeaway I really hope you guys have after every parenting article we share. But if you are struggling with that, or if it's an idea that you can identify with conceptually and understand, but still have a hard time living by, remember the many challenges parents face in this day and age. I'm talking about social and structural challenges like the lack of support systems, getting affordable childcare, what's that? Parent-friendly workplaces, etc. And all this on top of the pressure and expectations that mothers especially are facing. Parenting is hard enough as it is, and we try to be perfect at it, but we only double that struggle in doing so. So take this episode as a reminder to give yourself grace and set that example of giving grace for your children. But with that, we are going to wrap up another parenting edition of ORD. Thank you so much for tuning in today, everyone, and listening through to the end. And be sure to come on back and do the same thing tomorrow, where I will have another post for you and where your optimal life awaits.